What up, cuckolds? It's your boy, the Hater, up in this mug. And it's time for the debut episode of Hater on the Road, motherfucks. Hater on the Road, which is the hater driving and recording videos. Didn't know I could do this because I thought that the speaker in the car would be garbage, but it's actually pretty good. So let's get to it. Today's video is about a very important topic that has become more and more salient as time goes on. The importance of wrestlers being masculine. And the way that we're going to make this argument is we're going to use a great example of a masculine wrestler called Braun Breaker. Okay? This is basically the only man left in the WWE. At this juncture, it's a bunch of sissies that are pretending to be grown men. They act like bitches, they wrestle like bitches, and they look like bitches. First of all, long hair. Now, the hater actually has long hair himself. The hater's growing his hair out, cucks. But the hater needs to cut that shit immediately and also drop a few pounds so that I can go back to being the Chad bastard that I typically have been. Similarly, a lot of long-haired wrestlers. I don't like it. This guy in front of me doesn't know how to drive. Cucks. Hater gets road rage sometimes. Now, some wrestlers historically need to have long hair because it's part of their presentation. Like, for example, Edge. If Edge is going to be the rated R superstar, or Jericho, and their gimmick is essentially that they're a rock star type guy, then they have to look the part, right? I understand that. I'm not saying everyone should have short hair. As a matter of fact, hair diversity is important. You want people to look different so you can tell them apart. But there's masculine long hair, like Roman Reigns, and there's feminine long hair, like Dolph Ziggler, motherfucks. A man who straightens his hair and bleaches it is not a real man, all right? That's how it is, and that's how it's going to be. This also includes people like Solo Sikoa, who frost their hairs like Michael Cole in 1998. Jacob Fatu, he's got little red tips like he's T-Pain. I don't like that. The wrestlers that I like act like men and behave like men. Braun Breaker is one such example. But let's not get caught up in the small example. Hair is whatever. There's far more important attributes. And to illustrate these attributes, I can't believe I'm talking about 95% of these things, but we have to talk about them. First of all, we've got Damian Priest, who has hair extensions and wears eyeliner, okay? This is unacceptable for a world champion. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa would beat your ass. First of all, I'm not that convinced that they would, number one. Number two, so what? They're bigger and stronger than me and can kick my ass. Big deal. So what? This doesn't invalidate anything that I'm saying. Furthermore, I'm choosing my own champion, Braun Breaker. And I don't think anybody who knows anything about athleticism has any doubts as to whether Braun Breaker would completely murder the werewolf Jacob Fatu or Solo Sikoa. He would kill them both in seconds, okay? He is a real one, all right? Same thing with Damian Priest. That guy is just like awkward looking. But anyways, probably the biggest culprit, the biggest offender of this standard has got to be none other than Seth Rollins, okay? Let's just ignore the fact that for like 2 years or so, this guy has been coming out wearing women's clothes, okay? Fine. He's an eccentric character, even though he really isn't, because he doesn't really act eccentric. As a matter of fact, in his last promo, he got all serious, you know, which is kind of weird because that's not what he's supposed to be. Some people have said he's a Joker-esque character. No, he isn't. Absolutely not. The Joker is a savage who stabs you in the eye with a pencil. At least like the modern Joker. I personally think that Joker sucks. I'm more of a fan of the animated series Joker. What do you think of them apples? Oh, Heath Ledger's Joker is brilliant. Is it? He just plays a psychopath. The fact that he's the Joker has no bearing on his character at all. You know, the Joker is supposed to hold Batman upside down as he drops him in a vat of acid and throws chattering teeth to get away from the cops. And throws maybe a playing card, like, you know, and does other Jokerish things like carry big hammers for no reason and act like a clown. Heath Ledger doesn't act like a clown. As a matter of fact, none of these new Jokers act like that. They just took the Joker, they reinterpreted him as a psychopath. No, motherfucks. The Joaquin Phoenix one, all right, that one's a little bit different. He gets a pass. That's a pretty good movie. But anyways, I was going to say Heath Slater. You know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking of Heath Ledger, and I was thinking of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins doesn't do that. What he does do, however, is he colors his hair And then now, the ultimate indignity. Now Seth Rollins has started to wear heels. He straight up comes to the ring with high heels, motherfucks. Why? Why is he doing this? This high-heeled loser comes out there, and I'm wondering, why is this guy towering over CM Punk? They're both about 5'9" in real life, probably. But, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. Seth Rollins is towering over him. I'm like, oh, maybe CM Punk has shrunk from his surgeries on his knees or whatever, right? But then I realized that he's wearing heels. And then, to make matters worse, Seth Rollins says, I'm above you, CM Punk, and I'm not talking about the heels. Well, there you have it. You have one man with long hair who dresses like a woman and wears heels. This guy should be the Divas champion. What the hell is this guy doing here? Like, pretending to be like a worthwhile world heavyweight champion. Now, I will say this. There is always room for flamboyance in wrestling. A great example might be Shawn Michaels, who was equally effeminate, at least for the time. Right nowadays, he would feel like fucking, like Tom Selleck. But, back then he was very effeminate. But it was part of his character, right? The fact that he's effeminate has to do with the fact that he's an egomaniac, right? That he finds himself attractive. Like that he's supposed to be this guy. Like that promo with Pamela Anderson where you see Pamela Anderson and fucking Shawn Michaels is like, perfect legs, perfect chest. And then the camera pans and it's him looking at himself in the mirror. You know what I mean? That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with even a gay wrestler or a wrestler who might be straight and whose gimmick is he's gay. Like, I thought Billy and Chuck was awesome, right? They were effeminate, but it was subtextual. It was part of the gimmick. And also, they were still masculine, right? They were still men. They may be gay, but there's gay masculine men. Billy and Chuck are these two, like, enormous motherfucks chiseled out of stone. Like, Billy Gunn today would beat up all the Samoans and Seth Rollins and almost everybody else, right? Prime Billy Gunn, forget about it. You kidding me? But anyways, the point is that we have a bunch of wrestlers who have no personalities, and they, as a result of having no personalities, expect that their personality just becomes the way they dress. And this is unacceptable. I have noticed that Damian Priest has worn the same vest for like 3 weeks in a row. It says live forever. And this guy's becoming more and more effeminate every day. It's a little bit weird, if you ask me. It's a little bit weird. Wrestling is fundamentally a place where we find out who is the manliest, who is the most masculine. That's why, historically speaking, wrestling characters have been different types of masculine archetypes. So we have the jock, The Rock. We have the redneck, Stone Cold. We have the black militant in Farouk and the others in Nation Domination, but mostly Farouk. He was like the real one, right? We have like the Texas Cowboy in JBL and James Storm, right? Like he had long hair, but it was masculine long hair. Then we have like the Wall Street Executive, also played by JBL, right? That's another hyper masculine person, right? A dominant personality. We have Booker T, who plays a king, motherfucks. We have Scott Steiner, who plays a genetic freak, along with Brock Lesnar and Batista. We have Kane, who plays a fucking horror character who's 7 foot tall, and Undertaker, who plays a guy that's obsessed with dead things. We have characters that embody different and, varying in popularity types of masculinity. What archetype of masculinity does Seth Rollins embody? Nothing. He embodies the soul of the cuckold. Cody Rhodes embodies the soul of the crybaby. Like, can you even envision a scenario where Braun Breaker cries? I can't think of it. I can't think of a moment where this guy's gonna cry as part of his character, right? Because he's a real man. And that's why he becomes an attractive figure for the fans. The fans are automatically gravitate themselves towards masculinity because that's what wrestling fundamentally is. It's extremes in masculinity and extremes in femininity, but not the other way around. Not Rhea Ripley is basically a dude, and then you have like the new lesbian faction, that's what I'm gonna call them until they have a name, with Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler. She's basically a dude. She acts like a dude, right? And people are like, oh, why does nobody care about the women? Well, because the women don't act like women. Instead, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, they're the ones that act like women, and Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair and all of these like women have to act like men. You know what I mean? Like they have to like shut off their emotions and take what makes them interesting and switch it up so that Seth Rollins can wear a dress. This is literally what's happening, motherfucks. Rhea Ripley has to get a Pidgeotto haircut and act like a tough dude right? Act like a bull so that fucking Seth Rollins can act like a sissy. So he can act like a cuck. So he can wear a dress and wear hats and wear heels. The fuck? Fuck out of here, motherfucks. I will say one thing, and that's this. Gunther, even though he fucking sucks for other reasons, like a lack of athleticism and the fact that he's a Kozlov ripoff, at least he's a proper man. I mean, he does have the goofy-ass Nazi haircut, but whatever. Like, you can change that real quick, right? At least he's a proper man. That's what we need. Proper men. Proper men that can get over. You don't need to embarrass yourself and wear a dress to get over. Look at Orton. Look at Cena. Look at Triple H. All of these very masculine guys that got over, right? It's only the people that aren't masculine enough, that aren't cool enough by themselves, that have to debase themselves with these, like, effeminate gimmicks. See what I'm saying? That's what I gotta say about that, cucks.